Each Remembrance Day we stand with the nation to remember those who paid the highest price in our wars, the men and women who didn't return, those who came home carrying wounds seen and unseen, and the families and the communities who bore the long aftermath. We recall New Zealanders at Gallipoli, the courage of the Maori Battalion, the valour of the Victoria Cross recipients, and the countless ordinary lives broken or reshaped by conflict. Their sacrifice is woven into our civic memory and local landscapes, with memorials, cenotaphs, whānau stories and family cheers at kitchen tables. But remembrance asks more than a citation of names. It asks that we reckon with costs, the grief and poverty that follow loss, the mental and physical injuries that make ordinary life a daily struggle, the communities that must rebuild trust, work in hope when a generation is diminished. It asks the churches, neighbourhoods and civic leaders to stay attentive, not simply for a day, but in the ordinary rhythms of care and advocacy that help restore dignity and provide practical support to veterans and their family. To remember rightly is to hold truth with humility. War has brought death and sorrow on both sides. Families in New Zealand grieve, and families overseas grieve too. Faithful remembrance resists triumphalism and honours the image of God in every human life, even amid the realities of conflicts. This posture does not excuse injustice or condone aggression. It compels us to lament broadly, to seek justice where wrongs were done, and to pray for reconciliation where possible. The Christian witness in remembrance is a measured grief that refuses to harden into hatred. Into this landscape of human cost and communal mourning, we bring the Christian claim that history's deepest turning point is not a military victory, but the cross. Just over 2,000 years ago, one man, Jesus of Nazareth, gave himself, bearing injustice, pain and death, and through that obedient love opened a radically new horizon for humanity. Where war leaves brokenness and cycles of retribution, the cross announces forgiveness, restoration, and the promise of ultimate healing. This is not to collapse the realities. The soldier's death remains tragic and real. The practical needs of veterans and families remain urgent, but the gospel enlarges our remembrance. It gives us a language for lament that moves towards hope, a motive for sacrificial service towards the wounded, and a vision of reconciliation that challenges the cycles of revenge and bitterness. In Jesus' death and resurrection, Christians see both the seriousness of sin and the cost of human brokenness and the possibility of redemption for individuals, families, and nations. So here's some practical ways that we as a church can care for veterans and families. Let's mobilise volunteers to help them with paperwork, home repairs and transport, partner with veteran services and iwi initiatives to provide culturally competent care. We should be offering services that name local names, pray for those who served on every side, and call congregations to peacemaking and advocacy. Let us have teaching that connects civil memory with gospel hope, and use sermons and study groups to explain the historical cost of war, the Christian's ethic of just war and peacemaking, and of course the cross as the model for sacrificial love and reconciliation. And we need to speak up for policies that support veterans' health, mental care and family welfare. We need to press for education that teaches both the causes and the human cost of past conflicts. And we need to encourage people to visit memorials, light candles, recite the ode, and commit 1 minute of silence and follow that with one act of service in the week that follows. You know, Remembrance Day is more than a ceremony. It's a pastoral moment for the nation and a missionary opportunity for the church. We remember the soldiers, their courage and the costs, so that communities are not left to shoulder grief alone. We remember those who suffered on the other side so that our mourning doesn't harden into inhumanity. And we remember the cross. where a single sacrifice opens the way from mourning to hope. Let our remembrance be full-bodied, lament the loss, repair the harm, support the living and proclaim the good news that even death itself has been met by a love that refuses to leave us in despair. So my friends, find a local service or live stream, light a candle, recite the ode and spend a minute in silence. Then in the week ahead, let that silence lead you to an act of compassion, practical, persistent and rooted in the gospel. Lest we forget, and in remembering, may we also be agents of healing and hope. Now, as always, we appreciate your prayers, any donation, but most of all, we do appreciate your feedback. You know, we do read it all, we do take on board any suggestions, and we do review any criticism that you make. But a couple of things before I go. Don't forget to sign up for our weekly newsletter. You can do this on either the website christianvoicenewzealand.com or go to www.cvnznews.com. And speaking about CVNZ News, make sure you check it out for up-to-the-minute news viewed through the lens of the Bible. Now, today I'm not going to finish with a scripture, but instead, in keeping with today's topic, I want to finish with my respect to those New Zealand servicemen who have given their lives in any conflict around the world. And you can join in with me if you like. Simply put, they shall grow not old, as we that are left grow old. Age shall not weary them, nor in the years condemn. At the going down of the sun and in the morning, we will remember them. Hey, until next time.